This year, I'm thankful for trashy reality TV, my sweet dogs, my family, and discovering Lumi whole body deodorant. Why? Because Lumi is a deodorant like no other. It was created by an OBGYN who discovered BO isn't just an underarm thing, it's an all over thing. So she developed a pH optimized deodorant that's clinically proven to block odor everywhere, not just your pits, but your privates, your feet, your underboob, wherever you've got it, beyond everywhere. And the best part is no matter where you use it, Lumi is proven to keep working for up to 72 hours. If 3 days of odor control isn't something to be thankful for, I don't know what is. And after many requests, they formulated a new product to keep you smelling fresh and help you stay drier. Lumi Whole Body Deodorant plus Sweat Control. The same 72-hour odor control now with 72-hour sweat control. You guys, come on. You can experience the same outrageously effective 72-hour odor control while keeping sweat under control too. Lumi is baking soda free and paraben free and pH balanced for safe use below the belt, if you know what I'm saying. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Deodorant wipes are great, y'all, and free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. So use code PINKSHADE for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Okay, that's code PINKSHADE for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Use code PINKSHADE at LumiDeodorant.com, and please support our show and tell them we sent you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. And happy Thanksgiving, because today is Thursday. And you guys, I have a Thanksgiving treat. It's the star of Radio Andy and stages all across America. It's my sworn enemy. Just kidding. It's my friend, John Hill.
Your sworn frenemy.
John, I have to tell you the reason I said that, and I should have told you before, so it would have been funnier. I've gotten some feedback that I say the term my friend too often.
Oh, well. Do you mean, what's the criticism of that you have too many friends?
No, that I'm bragging. That like you're my friend.
But you do have a lot of friends.
But you are my friend.
Yeah, we are friends.
So if I say my friend John Hill said, it sounds like I'm bragging. So I had a listener wrote me and said, instead of that, why don't you say my sworn enemy?
Okay.
So I said, that's good. That's good. Mix it up. You're not my sworn enemy, though. We are friends.
Yes. We're like Elphaba and Glinda.
I mean, okay. Am I Elphaba, though? Obviously.
We're friends now. You know, you never know who will become what later.
That's true. But obviously, I'm the green one and you're the cute one. So, I mean.
No, but we all want to be Elphaba, though.
Yeah. In Wicked, we do.
Yeah.
Not later. Yeah. Later. John, when you were young, did your mom make you watch The Wizard of Oz, and were you scared?
Okay, well, those are two different questions. My mom, she didn't make us. We got to watch it. That's what we'd say. I think it was a Christmas Day thing, right? It wasn't, or no, that was Sound of Music. Sound of Music was Christmas Eve. Maybe it was even Thanksgiving. Was it a Thanksgiving thing?
It was a Thanksgiving thing, I think, because my mom would always be like, okay, this is a classic and you may never get to see it again. It's on television. You have to watch it.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that I think back in the day, because we're of a certain age, that there weren't that many networks. There was no Bravo. There were just 4 channels, and they would play Sound of Music and Wizard of Oz on those holidays, and it would be an event every year. You'd have dinner, you'd see the family, then you'd all sit down and you'd watch Wizard of Oz. I remember thinking it was freaky. It didn't scare me, but I love horror movies, and I always have. So I love anything freaky deaky. I liked how weird it was, and there was always something new in the movie. You know, there was some new scene that you hadn't noticed before that you could obsess about. It wasn't boring at all. It looked cool.
I was scared of it. I was really scared. I was scared of the monkeys, and I was scared.
Well, it's weird.
The Wicked Witch of the West. Yes,
those are scary things. I remember being scared of I mean, when you think about it, a scarecrow is scary. A scarecrow coming to life,
Yes.
a Tin Man coming, like that.
Yeah,
Those are scary things. A
it was.
tornado is scary.
All of it is scary, but the mostly, I mean, I have I'll dream about it tonight now that I'm talking about it, but it's like seared in my brain, those monkeys. And I remember like
Yeah.
crying, like, I don't want to watch it. Mom's like, it may never come on again. This will be
Were
your
you,
only chance to ever see it.
and you know how I hate a munchkin.
Do you?
Mm-mm. I'm not messing with any munchkins.
Um,
I'm kidding. I love them.
oh my God. So, all right. So we're recording on Wednesday, guys. You know, this I always record a day early usually. And so when people are hearing this, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So tell me what you will be doing right at this moment when people are listening on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. I will be finishing at the gym actually, because like LA, that's what we do. We
Of
do
course.
like a long, epic workout. And then I'm going to come home. I'm going to cradle my dog in my arms, nurse him perhaps,
Mhm.
breastfeed him, look at my new Christmas tree, maybe water the Christmas tree, light a fire, spend some time being grateful,
Mhm.
take a nap,
Mm.
shower. And then I'm going to go to my ex-boyfriend's house, who
Mhm.
we've spent every Thanksgiving together. Boyfriends, not boyfriends. We've always just been Thanksgiving pals. Gonna go over there. And then I'm gonna go to the Smith sisters from Radio Andy. I'm gonna go to their house later in the evening. Leftovers, movies,
Yeah,
tea.
I feel like last year you said you went to the Smith sisters.
The only thing about
Yeah.
that is that they are far. Like the thing about LA, the break, the great break that we get over a holiday is that you don't have to drive. And driving here has gotten in the way of my mental health in such
Mm.
a way that
Yeah.
I have to put myself on ice. I have to say, okay, you've reached your limit of being behind the wheel of a car today. You have
Mhm.
to stay home, because people are out to get me. People can't drive. They're terrible people. It's just it has gotten way out of hand. I don't know who they're giving driver's licenses to, but these people cannot operate a car. There are driverless cars now. The Waymos. Do you have those?
I have heard you guys talk about them on the radio, and maybe they have them in DC proper, but
Mhm.
here, 8 miles out in the suburbs, we don't. But I'm terrified of that.
I mean, I think they're fine. They probably drive better than people. It's just the mix of aggressive drivers mixed with these robot cars right now. It's not matching up. Like people are, and then Teslas are basically driving themselves anyway. So you're not like when you need someone to hurry up and go. I can't talk about this. It'll get me
Yeah.
worked up.
Okay. All right.
But
Well,
the Smith sisters are far away from me, so I may bail.
you may bail. Okay. All right.
I may eat, and then as the sun sets, which is basically sets at like 2 p.m. now,
Right.
I may be like, oh girl, I don't know if I want to drive to over the valley because I got to drive. It's like 35 minutes.
But won't it be better driving since it's a holiday and there aren't as many people on the road going to and fro work and whatnot?
You would think so,
Yeah.
but the great surprise of LA is that people will still find a way to drive like assholes,
Mm.
even when no one else is on the road.
Mm. When I was in LA, when I saw you, when I was there earlier this year, I was like, oh, okay. So what I'm understanding now, everything is 1 hour. It doesn't matter
yeah.
if it's 4 miles or 20 miles, it's an hour. Everything is 1 hour. Everything.
I went to the gym this morning and I left 30 minutes early because it's not even the bad people driving. It's not the robot cars. It's the parking. You have to circle a block 10 times. You have to pray to God that someone will leave. And then, because there's 10 people get in their car, they turn their car on and then they check their phone for 30
They
minutes.
sit. Yes, I know.
Which I also like that. There's nothing more satisfying than getting into your car after doing an errand and being like, you know what? Let's see what people are up to.
I do that. I sit. I sit. I know. And that's actually really dangerous for women, actually, because that's like you're just sitting there like, somebody come get me. Somebody come get me.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, women shouldn't do that. Or the minute you should train yourself to the minute you get in your car, lock your door. Because usually you don't turn your car on. You just sit there to look at your Instagram or your text or your whatever. Lock your doors, ladies.
God, you gotta be careful out there.
Yeah. If you're John Hill, you could take somebody on, but dainty little women like me, what am I going to do?
Oh my God, Mary Payne.
Yes.
I sang 2 songs to advertise my show last week. Didn't sell 1 extra ticket, but I went to I sang 2 songs in a parking lot 2 weeks ago just to try to hustle some ticket sales. And as I was pulling up, someone got in my car thinking I was their Uber driver. Has that ever happened to you?
No, but I know so many people that has happened to, but no, it has never happened to me.
Well,
Thank
you
God, I
think,
would panic.
yeah, someone's coming into your space and it's a surprise, and they get in there and they have this entitled aggression, like
They
I'm
like
getting
hop in your back seat.
This guy hopped in, and well, I had my full size big ass keyboard back there, so he couldn't really sit there, but he opened it. He was like, "Oh, hey," and then I I would have rather responded like, "Excuse me, I'm not your Uber," like something
Yeah.
appropriate. But
Yeah.
I screamed like I was being attacked, and I screamed like I was a woman, and I am embarrassed about how what it was a horrifying sight and sound. I think that this poor man
That
saw,
is so
and then he slammed the door
funny.
and ran away.
But I mean, it says, Nissan Rogue, Chevrolet Suburban, make sure you look for tag XYZ, PDQ, whatever.
Right.
It says
And
it. I always am double, triple checking, but not
Well,
this
it was
guy.
in a hipster area.
Mm.
Maybe they just aren't as careful.
Yeah, maybe he was like, yeah, of course my Uber driver is going to be this hot, muscular guy. Sure.
in a Taos.
A Taos. That's what you have, a Taos?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go to your ex-boyfriend's house, you're gonna snuggle your dog, you're gonna maybe go to the Smith Sisters if you don't bail.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Great. Well, so my son is in town, but he's gonna go back to school on Thanksgiving night because there's an important football game on Friday that he can't miss. I mean, he could miss, but he's choosing not to.
Is he playing in the game?
No, he's just a spectator. Yeah,
okay, he can't miss that to be
home
with family.
No, I can't miss it. But he'll be back like 2 weeks later, and it'll be a month and a half. So
listen, yeah. I get it, and you got to do what you want to do when you're that age. You don't want him sitting at home hating life, being like, I could be with my friends at the football game,
Oh, right. And since he's been home, you can hear the dogs barking, which probably means he just drove up. But since he's been home, we haven't really seen him. I mean, he's just been like, hey, are we having dinner? What time? Because I got to go out with my friends. Last night they went into DC to go out, and within 45 minutes he was back home. And it's far. And I was like,
what'd you even do?
What wasn't great? He goes, I got there and I was like, I spent $20 on one drink, and I was like, this is stupid. And I came home.
Now, how old is he at this point?
He's 19.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember being 19. So he's freshman year?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all starting to happen.
Mommy no like.
Yeah. Is he in love yet?
So he had a 2-year girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And they broke up earlier this summer, but they're friends.
Sure. Yeah.
Friends with benefits. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, he's seen her quite a bit since he's been home.
Cool. Well, when you fall in love, and that's when he'll.
His first heartbreak, I think.
That was rough.
It was rough. Yeah. It was rough around here. Rough.
I bet.
Rough.
I bet. Well,
but he's at least
have some time with him.
Yeah, he's at college. He's doing that college boy thing. He's down there with all those beautiful Southern women, and he's happy.
That's great. Do you cook a big meal for Thanksgiving?
No. And nobody here likes Thanksgiving food. So we are literally having like flank steak that my husband started marinating yesterday, a twice baked potato, a fried okra, homemade rolls. Yeah.
That sounds pretty.
Yeah. We're grateful for it.
Yeah. That's a bountiful harvest.
Yeah. And then we'll take them to the airport. That's it.
Wow. Flank steak. That sounds good.
I know. We love a flank steak. I mean, it's got this marinade. It's got like honey and soy sauce. It's going to be delish.
I wonder if a lot of people who are on Ozempic just won't be eating.
I'm on Jaro, so I won't be eating a lot. No.
That's why you're not having a big meal.
No, it's because literally, if we got a turkey, nobody would eat it. If there's a dressing that I make that nobody likes. I mean, people in my family, but my immediate family doesn't like it. It's a family thing on my side, and then everybody would just eat rolls. So why, let's eat something we like.
Yes, smart.
Are you and your ex-boyfriend going to have traditional Thanksgiving food?
Yes, because his mom and sister and brother and sister-in-law and all their kids and stuff, we've all been doing Thanksgiving for over a decade together. And yeah, we do a turkey and we do the whole thing. We do all of it.
Okay. Well, I like it. So take a picture of the turkey and be like,
I will. I make a great turkey. I cheat. You get the Ziploc poultry bag. I think Ziploc makes it. And it's literally called the poultry bag. You get it and you don't have to do anything to it. You put some flour in the bag just to because that's the way it has to work scientifically or something. You put
Yeah.
the bird in,
Uh-huh.
whatever salt and pepper, and then you put it in the oven, and it magically makes you a turkey in like 1 hour.
Okay, well, this is a miracle I've never heard of.
It's a hack, and it is. No one will know that you didn't cook it for 8 hours. You know, like when your mom would get up at like 4 in the morning, like, oh, I have to go like put the juice and like just baste it.
Yes.
Like, no, stop waking up. You put like you can wait till 9 in the morning. You pop it in the oven in the bag. It's done in an hour, and it's the perfect texture outside, inside. It's all perfect.
Oh my God!
It's in the zip. It's in the any supermarket in like the Ziploc aisle.
Okay, well, guess what? I don't really like Thanksgiving turkey, so we're not doing it. But
well, you support turkey's rights because you heard the Butterball story.
Sure.
Do you know about that?
No.
Oh, well, we don't have to get into it, but apparently they're sexually assaulting turkeys at the Butterball factory.
Who is the workers?
The workers,
the humans.
Listen, yes, the humans. Unfortunately, they're sexually molesting the turkeys, and it's a video has surfaced. I have not clicked it because it's upsetting. I don't want to see a turkey get.
Wait, I have a question. Okay. Or is it a live turkey or a turkey carcass like what you serve?
I don't know. I think it's the turkey before it's.
Okay, so it's not like what you serve it on the table. They're not like banging the carcass.
I think
they're sexually assaulting live turkeys.
I think they're live. Yeah, I think it's how they're and also they're killing them in a horrible way. Like they're.
I don't want to. Don't tell me.
Yeah, so that's why we're not eating turkey. Why don't we just say that?
Okay, that's why I'm not eating turkey because I heard about the Butterball scandal.
PETA, like the tea is that it sounds like PETA planted this story. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. They're planting this story to be like, you guys, you're all buying turkeys, but they've been sexually molested. There's a big billboard over here on Sunset by my gym that's like, it's a picture of a very sad looking turkey, and it says she didn't give her consent, and it's like to be your dinner on Thanksgiving. And it just,
John, that's not true. That is not a billboard. That is not true.
I'm sending it. I took a photo of it. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay. I
cannot
believe that is true.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm looking, guys.
She did not give consent. Please go vegan this Thanksgiving. Look at her.
What is this? That is the crazy. You guys, I'll put this in the show notes. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. 1000%. I thought you were kidding.
No.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the PETA headquarters. Anyway, carry on. We can talk about Housewives.
Okay. You guys, John has a show on SiriusXM called The News with John Hill, and this is
it's the John Hill show now.
Oh, well, you changed it a couple of times.
Yes.
What's on your finger?
It's a pickle. It's a puppet. It's a finger puppet of a pickle.
Okay, because
I don't know. I don't know where I got this. I think I got it. I don't know, but it's just fun to put on your finger and have. I have all sorts of weird things on my desk. My dad used to be like that, just like a couple of gag gifts on the desk.
So in my office, normally I have everything within arm's reach. I could have everything, but because of the work being done in my house, I can't up there. So I'm in my basement. The only thing I have down here is my Billie Eilish doll.
Well, she matches my pickle.
She does. Listener sent me that. Okay. All right. So okay, guys. So I'm happy that John is here on this episode because we had the scene this week with Dorit and PK that was pretty deep and dark. And then we had the scene with Mary Cosby and her son, Robert Jr. And if you didn't know his name was Robert Jr., it's written right above his door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great if you're like 4. But
I thought that was cool. Yeah, he probably.
I think he was great for when he was
18?
little.
Is he 18?
I think he might be 20.
20, yeah.
Yeah. And so we had these kind of important scenes this week. And so for those of you who don't know, John Hill is a person in recovery from substance abuse. I'm married to a person who's in recovery from substance abuse. So we can give our opinions on this, right? I mean, just like our learned experience, but we're obviously not doctors.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And
Ingrid told me to say that, John. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, there's so much to say. Keep going. I don't know.
It's gift giving season, and you know who's on the nice list? It's Quince. It's great when you can give somebody a gift they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves. Right now in my Quince cart, I have a couple of candles that I'm going to be taking for people for hostess gifts when you go to their house for a little party. Don't tell Ingrid because I'm getting her one. The Quince is quality gifts at an affordable price. It's always my go-to. As you know, I'm obsessed with Quince. Right now, I also have some really nice socks in my cart, and I also have a couple of cashmere throws that I'm going to be giving my sisters-in-law for Christmas. You guys, they have the best gifts. Everybody needs in their closet one of their Quince Mongolian cashmere sweaters. I've got a black cardigan. Just throw it on with everything. It's really the best. And the best thing about Quince is the prices. Their cashmere sweaters start at $50, you guys. How do they do this? They partner directly with top factories that cut out the cost of the middleman, which passes the savings on to you. And don't sleep on their suitcases, you guys. I just got an amazing Quince suitcase. So like I said, Quince is on the nice list because they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they use premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel for every piece. So gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/pinkshade for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/pinkshade to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pinkshade. And when they ask you, where did you hear about Quince? Make sure to say we sent you. But we could talk about how we feel about these things that we saw from our lives that we've lived. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So let's first chat about Dorit and PK. So I really felt it in the first episode. Well, first of all, of course, everybody's talking about the smoking, and now she's just like, here I am, everybody. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Right.
And
desperate times call for cigs.
I get it.
I get it. Did you smoke ever?
I did.
What was your cigarette?
I liked a Marlboro Light in the white pack. I like a hard pack because you can really get them.
I sound like I'm smoking, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I liked a Parliament Light.
Oh, okay.
And I really liked in the 90s a Camel Crush, a Camel Red Light, which was a Camel Light, but it was trendy.
Oh, okay. I think I just went for Marlboro Light because I didn't know what I was doing, and that's what people had. And that was like a high school, college sitch.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. My daughter currently smokes cigarettes because that's what the kids do now. They're off the vapes, back to the cigs. Yeah. She smokes American Spirits.
I used to smoke American Spirits when I was a drug addict.
Oh, okay. We stopped last night. We went to a nice dinner, the four of us. And she's like, can you guys like stop by the 7-Eleven? So she goes in, I said, how much is a pack of cigarettes? Now, my husband and I, same age, we were like, wait, let's guess. Because we're like, back in our day, it was like $4. So I was like, I bet cigarettes are $8.
I bet they're like 15.
It's $11 for a pack of cigarettes.
Wow.
One pack. I was like, Dave was like, back in my day, you could get a carton for $11.
You could go to the machine and put a quarter in or $1, whatever, and get one out of the machine.
Yeah.
If I were this is why another reason why I can't have kids. If my child smoked, I'd kill him.
I mean, that's not, no, I mean, listen, there's worse things. She used to smoke pot a lot and now she doesn't. She only smokes cigarettes. So I think that's better. Is it? I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would have a hard time not wanting to control that. You're a good mom.
She's 21. She smokes outside. It doesn't, she pays for it herself. She has a job. So, all right.
You're healthy.
Yeah. Well, it's
that's emotionally healthy. Letting her do her thing. I would throw a fit.
Yeah. I don't like it, but what can I do? So Dorit's driving around smoking, and we're like, okay, Dorit, live your truth. But to me, the interesting part was she's gotten to this point in her marriage where they've decided to separate. And the more she's like, and everything's fine and it's amicable and we're going to be the first people ever, then we're now starting to see that facade fall. I first saw it when she went over to Kathy Hilton's house, who was getting like hair, makeup, IV, toenail all at the same time. When she was like, well, yeah, he's a full-blown alcoholic. Yeah, he's a raging, full-blown alcoholic.
Wow. Yep.
If this is somebody who is trying to like kind of still keep it she would be like, he has a drinking problem. I'm trying to support him. But I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. I've been there. We're like, oh my God,
Right.
it feels so good now to tell people
Yeah.
what I've been living with.
Right.
And it's almost a little bit of sympathy seeking.
Yeah.
But so she's not trying to protect him, which is interesting, right? She's just like, this is terrible.
I was surprised. I didn't know that this was going on until she started talking about it. I guess I wasn't paying attention.
I think that last year at the reunion, remember she had that red thing on?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's when she said he has been sober for a small amount of time and things were better than ever.
Right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. So I think that, listen, there's a Toby Keith song. I sobered up and I got to thinking, you ain't much fun since I quit drinking.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that PK sobered up and was like, like she's not great like I thought she was.
Well,
which, by the way, he was never great anyway.
Exactly. The dynamic changes, even if the person is wonderful. The dynamic just changes. It's not even about enabler or not. It's just the way you walk through the world changes when you sober up. So of course things shift. It's a big change, a big adjustment.
I think it's the way she's processing it by telling people is interesting to me, because I get that as somebody who lives through it, you know. But her on this episode, when she was describing, because he says, you know, we wouldn't treat the waiter at this restaurant the way we, you know, treat each other or whatever. I think when she was saying, yeah, it got into where we would have arguments, but not in front of the children. And then we would have arguments in front of the children. And then we would have arguments with no profanity. And then we did have profanity. And then we just started saying horrible things like, I hope you fall off your stool in a drunken stupor and die.
Oh, yeah.
And it can get... I'm very glad now that we've gone from, we were just going to be the most perfectly amicably separated couple ever, to like, no, this was some real shit that was going down.
Right. The tip of the iceberg situation. Where does it stand now? Remind me, because I watched this and then I since watched Salt Lake. So I have so many things in my brain. Where does it stand out? She's saying that it was really terrible. Like, why is she talking about it so much? Why not just get a divorce and move on? Like, is she just worried about the kids?
I think that, like, when she was on Watch What Happens Live recently, and I watched it, but now I can't remember. Same with you. Like, I got too much in my brain. I feel like she said they had not told the kids. It's just sort of like dad's always, because he's always on a trip and he's always gone. So it's no different for them that he's not there.
And is this the episode where PK also says that? He's like, we haven't told the kids. Or he says, yeah.
Maybe he said that to Mauricio. I don't know. But
it was Mauricio. Exactly. Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't like that when they had the thing at the restaurant. I didn't like that he was pointing out to her, which to me felt a little blamey. He pointed out to her like, well, when we first got married, you were really fun and social. And then you've changed. Okay, well, guess what? She has 2 kids and you guys have had to move 3 times because of your gambling problem.
Right.
She's now on a TV show and has like commitments for a job, and she's 10, 15 years older now. So yeah, all these things will change you. She can't be this like fun go out. And then also she was robbed at gunpoint,
right,
which allegedly may be his fault.
And also we're in, you know, I think Dorita's younger than me, but she's in her 40s, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is it's such a man thing to do, like such a like entitled man type of thing. Like, you're no fun anymore. I mean, like, you're a grown woman in your 40s raising children. Like, you know, I don't know. Guys can just I don't know. It just bugs me.
Well, it's like, okay, so you're not as fun as you used to be. So I'm going to do what I did with my other wife, and I'm going to get a younger model who is fun.
Oh, I hate that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is probably what she's thinking. She's like, right. Oh, okay, well, trade me in then.
I hate that.
Hope you find somebody rich that can take on all your debt, you know?
Where does it stand now? So is PK sober? Is he saying he wants to be sober? Is he acknowledging he has a problem?
Yes, I believe that he said, yeah, I think he's fully said he had a problem. And I think she even said on the last episode, he's in AA, which is funny because a friend of mine, a listener too, wrote me and was like, it's funny that she's out there going, he's in AA. The whole point of AA is to be anonymous. She's out there talking about it, you know?
That's a whole that's a whole thing too. There's such a not a double. It's such a weird thing that happens. Like I remember the way my friends who partied used to speak about people who had problems with drugs and alcohol. They'd be like, oh, like, how do I explain it? It's almost like you were an outcast if you joined a program or joined AA or tried to get help, because then you're admitting something, acknowledging something. But if you just were a huge mess and didn't ever try to change it, you were kind of like a badass. Do you see what I'm saying? Like they would always, like in my circle of friends, they would always, we had this one friend, I won't say her name, but it was always like, we had two friends. One of them was a mess and she was just always going to be drunk and never get help. The other one was a mess and chose to get help. And they would always talk about this one like, oh, well, she's really an alcoholic because she goes to AA. But it's like, she's sober now. You're the one. Like, you can't admonish her and say she's the worst one because she is getting, it's just the backwards way that we as a society treat drugs and alcohol, I think.
I think that also when my husband was drinking, it was a lot of, well, at least I didn't do this, or at least I'm not as bad as so-and-so. Listen, what's happened to so-and-so. You know what I mean? And I was kind of like, well, you're one drink away from that happening to you, bud. So I don't know what stones you're throwing. So that's the same thing, right? It's like, at least I'm not as bad as that.
Well, in talking about Dorit, it also shows, you know, like if somebody does go to a program or goes to AA or goes to whatever program to help them get sober, they always say the family should all go. Someone should go to Al-Anon, should go to a support group, because you're not going to be able to navigate these emotions yourself. Like you have a person who, even if they get help, like we said, is going to change a lot, and their hopes and dreams are going to change. The way they deal with problems are going to change for the better. Yeah. But they're going to change, and that's an adjustment for you. So I guess like it kind of speaks to me that Dorit has, you know, no offense, it doesn't seem like she's doing damage control a little bit. Like, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like if someone, you know, I think it would be good for, you know, her to go to some support, because then you'd know not to talk about him being an AA. That's, you know what I mean? Right. It's not helping him to say that.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that she is doing damage control. And so, like I said, I could so feel her in that moment to be like, okay, so here's what's happening. You know, my husband's gone to treatment and people are like, what? You know, like, yeah. And I could just be like, it's just been really bad for a really long time. And they're like, well, I don't even understand. So I think because her situation is she's being filmed on a TV show where she almost lost her job last season because she was so boring.
Right.
That now she's like, well, here I am. I'm going to lay it all out. And so I'm really going to lay it all out because I might be the only person in this relationship that has got a job, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, that is what happens. You are doing damage control because your life's falling apart. This is your husband. And I've always thought, especially with her and PK, he's rich. She always was down to kind of play a trophy wife kind of role. And if he's crumbling, then like, of course you're going to spin out too. So we're seeing them in a chaotic moment for sure.
We are. And I think that's why she's still on the show. Cause she's like, look what's going to happen. And I'll tell all about it, you know? And I think it's interesting. I think it's I'll be very interested to see where we start to where we end, you know, because they'll film over 4 months or so.
Right. Right.
To see sort of the progression of this. I mean, just their conversation at dinner, you could tell he is like, he to me seemed a little bit like a dry drunk. Like he's still pretty narcissistic and talking very rudely to her. Oh, right.
Yeah. That's classic.
Yeah.
Those are those telltale signs of someone who does have a problem. Self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself, thinking everyone else is the problem. What about me? This isn't my, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it was a little like that. And also he was a little like, he was kind of saying a lot of things about her. Right. And we weren't seeing him say anything really about himself. It was more like what she had done and how she had belittled him as a man, because when they first went into the marriage, he was the breadwinner and the big dude, and that she had to rely on him. But as things went along, you know, she has this job on the show, she doesn't maybe need him as much or whatever. And that made him feel emasculated, I guess.
Yeah. And not to bring another housewife into it, but like watching Shannon this year on OC has been hard. And, you know, I'm not part of the whole thing is whatever someone's issue is none of my business. If you're an alcoholic, you are. If not, you're not. Whatever she says she's not, so great, you're not. It's been hard to see someone who has had consequences from their alcoholism say, instead of, oh, I'm just going to cut out alcohol for a while, just say like, I'm going to have a lighter tequila soda. It's been hard to watch that, because the great thing that happens when you do, even if you don't work a program or anything like that, even if you just cut out the alcohol, just stop, your life, the problems in your life magically get better for a minute. I mean, not always, but like things, interpersonal issues, the stress. Shannon seems like she's under so much stress, this legal stuff, the money stuff. And like, it was hard to watch. That was a hard one. But I'm glad they're showing these stories on Bravo is the point. I'm really glad. Think about, the statistics. It's what, 20 million Americans more have a drug and alcohol problem. And that's reported. That's people who identify as having that. So look at the odds. We have how many women on these shows. Of course, some of them are going to have issues themselves or their husbands. Of course, like this is an important thing for people to see people work through.
And I think it's been interesting too. I don't know if you ever watched Potomac, but there's a storyline as well with Karen Huger, and she's gotten a second DUI. And it's sort of the way that people are treating Shannon and just reviling her for it. And then the way people are talking about, well, Karen is just like, shut it down. And I don't have a problem. And I'll be drinking with you ladies soon. Don't you worry about that. And no. And all the charges against me will be dismissed. And by the way, they're not. And
well, that's like Luann too.
Oh God. That's the, like, when she, court ordered, couldn't drink for 1 year. And then of course she did. And then she was in trouble again. Then she court ordered, didn't drink for 1 year. And then like the minute she was done, it was like, well, now it's over. Like I never was an alcoholic. And now she says she is an alcoholic, but she was drinking on that girls trip that we just saw her on. So.
Everyone is on their, that's the if you take away anything from this episode, everyone is on their own path. And just because you do have all these consequences doesn't mean you're an alcoholic, but that's for you to decide.
This episode is brought to you by Iristor, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. Look, we know the struggle, okay? Your brush is starting to look like a stuffed animal, and your shower walls have enough hair on them to build your own wig and take yourself to wig court. So if you're tired of dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, listen up. The Iristor Elite is the most powerful device on the market, packed with 500 lasers and LEDs to provide maximum scalp coverage to help you grow thicker, longer, healthier hair. This FDA-cleared device, the Iristor Elite, harnesses the power of low-level light therapy, which is a clinically proven method to regrow thicker and fuller hair. It is the most non-invasive, pain-free, and drug-free way to bring your hair back to life. With the Iristor Elite, you can sit back, relax, binge watch your favorite show while it works its science-backed magic on your scalp. You guys, I've been using it every night while I'm watching my programs, and Ingrid is using it too, and we send each other selfies every night while we're wearing our devices, and I swear it feels good on your head. And they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee. So you can try it risk-free. And if your hair doesn't make a glorious return, you'll get a full refund, just fabulous hair, or your money back. I mean, what have you got to lose? So are you ready to get medical-grade red light treatment at home and regrow your hair? For a limited time only, our listeners will get $625 off their order when you use code PINKSHADE at iristorlaser.com. That's $625 off your order at iristorlaser.com with promo code PINKSHADE. For a limited time only, listeners will get $625 off their order when you use code PINKSHADE at iristorlaser.com. And when you check out, support our show. Tell them we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to Iristor. In this holiday season, I'm thankful for Honeylove because Honeylove has revolutionized the bra and shapewear game. You guys, it used to be that my in-the-house bra and my out-of-the-house bra were two separate things. But now with Honeylove, their bras are so comfortable that the bra I use to lounge around the house in or sleep in is the same one I'll wear to a party. It's incredible. And this is because Honey Love's bras feature the supportive bonding that eliminates the need for underwire without sacrificing lift. I like the V-neck bra. It has the molded cups that are designed to lift everything up, but it's not like a shelf where you get that uniboob. You got to try it. Their shapewear uses targeted compression, so you no longer have to feel like you're suffocating. You don't have to stress when you need to wear shapewear now to a holiday party where you're like, oh, I'm going to be so uncomfortable, because it's not. It's comfortable. So gift yourself the gift of comfort. Plus, now until December 4th, Honey Love is giving you 60% off site-wide. That's right. From now until December 4th only, Honey Love is giving up to 60% off site-wide. It's their biggest sale of the year. So treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save up to 60% site-wide at honeylove.com/pinkshade until December 4th only. Inventory is limited and the sale ends soon. So don't miss their best deals of the year. And after you purchase, they'll say, hey, where'd you hear about Honey Love? Please tell them that Pink Shade sent you. You got to support your boobs and you got to support the show and say, Pink Shade sent me. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style. Thanks to Honey Love. Visit honeylove.com/pinkshade to shop the sale and let them know we sent you.
You know, but I would think that being on a reality show and looking at, watching it back and seeing your life in chaos, maybe it might be good to just take a break from it.
Yeah, I think Gina said something interesting to
Gina
Shannon.
is my favorite in this discussion because
I love Gina. I love Gina.
I love Gina so much. I really didn't like her at first because I wasn't really watching the show and I was like, who is this? But I met her, and then knowing that I just hear so much recovery every time she opens her mouth,
Yeah. And I think what she said to Shannon was like, well, you changed your relationship with alcohol. So da-da-da. And she's also saying like, she got a DUI and she goes, I didn't stop drinking the next day.
Right.
She goes, so I can understand this journey that she has to get there herself. And all of you yelling at her to tell her what an alcoholic she is never. I was like, I could telling somebody they're an alcoholic and have a problem is never going to change their behavior.
It's never going to help. It took me 15 years to get 1 year of sobriety. It took me so long. It's not something that even when you know that you have to change your behavior, it's not something you can do very easily. So sometimes it takes a really long time. That's what I love about Gina is the compassion in her voice and the understanding that you're on your own path and you'll figure it out if and when you need to, you will. And I love every time Gina opens her mouth about that stuff, especially to Shannon, because you don't ever hear Gina saying, you're an alcoholic, you have a problem, you need to change, ever. Yeah. You never hear her saying that type of stuff.
But I like the season 2. It was, I think it was Tamara said to Gina, like, but I mean, you were an alcoholic. So, and Gina goes, well, hold on. Yes, I am an alcoholic.
Right.
And her whole point was like, you don't know if I am or if I'm not. Like to Tamara, she was like, just because I didn't announce it to everybody and what program we're working, you guys know I don't drink anymore, but I haven't discussed with you why, and I don't have to. But don't go around saying, oh, well, Gina's not an alcoholic. She's like, I am. That's why I stopped drinking, Because
we have a weird definition of it in our country, I think, too. Alcoholic, even for me, who I identify as being an addict, like when I hear that word, I'm like, ew, gross. Like when I watch these opioid crisis documentaries and stuff, when I watch that show on Netflix, when I watch the, about the Sackler family, when I watch these shows, I see the opioid companies propaganda kind of worked on me because I still am like, oh, well, you're like a scuzzy loser if you're addicted to opiates. And I'm someone who was addicted to opiates. And even when I see it on TV, I'm like, oh, well, drug addicts are shitty people,
They're gross. Yeah.
That's what we've been told. And it's really not the case. I mean, this is a chemical issue.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting you say that because my husband, when he was in treatment, has a story that he was sitting around in some group, and the kids there were some people in 2025 and they're all like ungrateful that their parents bought them the wrong car or or the one kid had a brother that had died of heroin. And this kid who was like in his 20s was like, sometimes I wish I was like my brother and I died of heroin. And so Dave was hearing these things at that time, a 46-year-old man. And he's like, these kids are gross, Now, meanwhile, he was at a very, fancy rehab center. So if we could afford to be there, so could these kids. And he went in and he's told me this story that he went in and talked to his counselor and was like, ugh, just like, I'm so sick of hearing about that. And how stupid to be like, I wish I would have died of heroin like my brother. And this one kid is like bitching because their mom got him the wrong car and that sent him into a spiral, blah, blah, blah. And the counselor listened to him for a second and goes, okay, that's all bad. That is bad. So what caused you to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And the Dave had to be like, well, I had kind of and he's like, right. So your story is no better or worse than that.
Yeah.
Just because you're older or yours is alcohol and theirs is opiates doesn't make them any worse or better.
Right.
You
I
know,
know.
you have to, yeah.
It's and just the word, so alcoholic is it's like an insult. That person's an alcoholic, but really, and I do think it's kind of a bad name for whatever disease it is. I think a lot of people have a compulsion, addiction, like human beings are just that way. Some people, have it for really destructive things and other people have it for podcasting.
Sure. Well, it's like my husband now goes to the gym like you do.
Yeah.
He constantly goes to the gym. He's replaced, one thing with another. And you could tell, sometimes you could tell what it is with him. Like it'll be like jawbreaker candy. And he's got to get this specific one. And if it's not that specific one, and that's the thing for that time.
Yes.
Or it's those like ice drinks, it'll be whatever that is.
I'm the same way. It just changes, but I love it because it makes me unique and it makes me get creative things done. Like when I'm obsessed with something, you can't talk to me about anything else. Sometimes it's just like candles, but I think it's powerful when you know how to recognize it and accept it and use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's like, listen, at least I'm addicted to working out and it's not vodka. And I'm like, well, that's a great point. Spend all you want with that personal trainer. I don't care, So I think it is very important, these stories that we're seeing on Bravo in these seasons that we're seeing right now. And we've got the Shannon, we've got Luann, we've got the Kyle becoming sober.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we have the Karen Huger story, in addition to the two main ones we're talking about today, Dorit and PK, and then Mary and her son. Now let's see. Okay. PK said when he was talking to Dorit something about a sober coach. Now, the only thing I know about sober coaches is I've seen like Joe Jonas used to walk around with a sober coach. Like you see like celebrities with their sober coach. Well, can you explain to me, because obviously my husband didn't have a sober coach. He went away for 3 months and came back and then was like in meetings or therapy or getting tested and all that for like another year. So he didn't have a person that followed him around. So explain to me in your understanding what this is.
Well, actually, someone that I introduced you to, I don't know if you know this. Did you might have to cut this out. She wouldn't mind if I told you personally, maybe not on the pod, but did you ever interview Randy from TLC?
Yeah.
Okay. Randy is literally that person who I just mentioned is a sober companion. That is one of her jobs. And I
think she told me that.
Yeah. She's very open about it.
Yeah.
And she makes a ton of money and it is such a great service if it's not a scam, you know what I mean? Like basically you kind of alluded to, these rehabs and things like that. They are big money, big business, like a billion-dollar industry, and it's only getting bigger because a lot of people have problems. And if you can crack that tax bracket of people who have issues and you sell yourself, my friend Joe is this basically one of my really good friends. He is a celebrity sober coach, and I can't tell you how much money he makes. So much money, and he's just a regular dude like me, and he just happens to be cool enough that celebrities aren't annoyed with him being around, and he's chill. If he's with like Aerosmith or whoever, some band, if he's with the Rolling Stones, like he's hanging out, they don't care that he's in the room because he's a cool guy, but he's there for just a little added security if someone's going through something. And his situation is awesome. He's a great guy. I think there's some people who
he's there to be like, if somebody is feeling like they want to do something, or he's there to like be like your immediate person to talk to.
when you try to get sober and you're still staying in your same environment of people
Yeah.
who are using and drinking, so like if you're a movie star, if you're a TV star, if you're flying all over the place, you're not around your support group, you're around people who don't give a shit and they
Yeah.
don't mind if you fall. So it's nice, it's just a friend to say, if you, because what happens is you always spin out and you freak out about something. What do I do? And instead of, it's just having a friend there to kind of make you feel a little bit safer. I think there are some sober coaches. I think I don't want to misspeak, but there is one that I'm thinking of. I feel like Demi Lovato had a bad one at one point or something.
Oh,
Like,
a bad one. Yeah.
well, yeah, because then I think like they were all just relapsing together. Like I think if the person
Sure.
is like, the thing about Joe is like he's like a grandpappy who's like a dad figure who's
Right.
not gonna. He really wants your best interests.
But does Joe get to have a life at all? Or his life is just attached to this person like a barnacle, you know?
He gets to have a life because you get to say, yeah, I mean, you fly first class, you're going all over the place. I mean, you have to take some time away.
Right.
Yeah,
Could he
but
go to Thanksgiving with his family or he's got to go with this celebrity's family? You know what I mean?
I think it's a case by case basis. And I think you say what you can and can't do. And then you can always get, you call one of your friends if you need to sub and like you call,
Yeah, you
because
can do
there's a
that. That's
small
yeah.
group of people who do this job and they do it really well. They're in demand because not many, everyone would want to be a celebrity sober coach,
I think you
because
could do it.
I think I could too. I want to, I would love to.
You could also be like a bodyguard. You could serve two
Uh-huh.
purposes. Yeah.
I would like to be the thing about like, I think sometimes you get stuck with a lot of just rich kids who are brats and their parents hire you to babysit them. And that I wouldn't do good with.
I don't think you would do well.
I can't even handle a daughter smoking. Like,
Yeah, I know you're
wouldn't.
mad about my daughter smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay, well that's really it's interesting because the guy that helped us find the place where my husband went for treatment kind of did that as well. Was a sober coach,
Mhm.
but also did sort of what Randy does is like help people with interventions and then do
Yeah.
like mediation there and then attach with that person and take them to treatment,
Yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you got to be a special person to do that because
And it's a great, imagine how you feel at night. You're helping people get their lives together. Like that's an amazing service.
Yeah. If you go to bed though, and that person hops out of the bed and runs down to their dealer.
But then I think the attitude is like, listen, I may be your sober coach, but this is your life you're trying to lead. I'm here to
Yeah.
help you, but I'm not your babysitter. I'm not your boss.
I do have to sleep. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then I think the implication is like, okay, great, keep relapsing. That means I have, you're wasting your money on me, basically. Like you're spending
Yeah.
thousands of dollars a day on me. And if you want to keep going, great, I'll collect the check. You can kind of find ways to give a little tough love back. Like,
Yeah.
sure, go ahead, ruin your life, makes more money for me.
I think you'd be great at this job.
I think so too.
Yeah. Okay. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was, did you see the scene last week, which was Angie K talking to her dad about her
Yes.
mother?
Yeah, I did. I really liked what their conversation brought out.
It was super interesting because her point was, I was looking for this specific necklace to give to my daughter, and her daughter's getting into those teen years, which is rough, and she's saying, I found a necklace that mom gave me and I felt nothing. And I thought, first of all, that's so honest for her not to be like, oh, it just brought back these terrible memories or brought back these warm and fuzzy memories of mom. But she was like, it's been so long and she was such not a mom to me that I felt nothing. And I thought that was important to say because I think it's like, okay to feel that way. And her dad was so great, was like, yeah, I think your mom wanted this life. She wanted to have kids. She wanted to be, and then it was just too much for her. And then back then they didn't know how to help her. And I don't know how many kids were in that family. It sounded like a lot.
Yeah, big Greek family.
And the dad had to do it all.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people's stories. I think a lot of people have that. A lot of people probably related to what she was saying.
Because she got to a point where she's like, now she's like, I'm a mother. I can't imagine not getting better for my child, which of course, if you know anybody that's an addict, it doesn't matter if you have 6 kids or 1 or being yourself. I mean, my husband has said that. He's like, no, I wasn't thinking about you or the kids or anything. I was only thinking about where I would get my next 5 drinks, you know?
Yeah, it's powerful. It's a really powerful, sad disease, but like it's great that Angie and her dad could have that conversation now at this point, honestly. And it sounds like Angie's in a place where she's not trying to hold on to the anger and resentment of it and just, maybe she's sad and, wishes it had been different. But, I don't know. I heard dad seemed like a great guy too.
He always seems great. He always seems great. He comes in, she's like, okay, Dad, you're Greek. We're going to make a Greek salad. Let's have some feta cheese. It's all about being Greek all the time.
Yeah.
And she got a lot of shit last week because she said Abraham Lincoln's China had Greek keys on it. But she was like, she was just like, it's like Versace. But she was saying it's like, and they were all like, I don't think there was Versace. No, Abe Lincoln's wedding china did have the Greek keys all the way. That was the style of the china. But when she said it looked like Versace, then of course that made her seem like she was dumb, but she was right. It had the Greek key all the way around it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't know what she was saying. I didn't know if she meant it literally. But yeah, I could see like, I like back then that those designs were around. It wasn't like Versace invented that. But yeah.
Speaking of, you saw Oh Mary?
I did.
I saw it when I was in New York last, and
it's so fun.
I want to go see it again before it closes.
It's great.
Or I want to see it again before it goes on the road or somebody else takes on that role.
Yeah.
Rather than Cola Scola, because I think it was so, oh my God, I couldn't believe how good it was. I couldn't believe it. Like, I felt like it like changed my life a little bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Do you know Cola Scola?
We go way back. Yeah. I played his mother in a play in 2012.
Okay.
In New York. Yeah, we go way back.
Okay, well, tell him he has a fan. I follow everything about Oh Mary, and I loved it so much.
Good. Yeah.
I loved it so much. This episode is brought to you by Iristor, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. Look, we know the struggle, okay? Your brush is starting to look like a stuffed animal, and your shower walls have enough hair on them to build your own wig and take yourself to wig court. So if you're tired of dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, listen up. The Iristor Elite is the most powerful device on the market, packed with 500 lasers and LEDs to provide maximum scalp coverage to help you grow thicker, longer, healthier hair. This FDA cleared device, the Iristor Elite, harnesses the power of low-level light therapy, which is a clinically proven method to regrow thicker and fuller hair. It is the most non-invasive, pain-free, and drug-free way to bring your hair back to life. With the Iristor Elite, you can sit back, relax, binge watch your favorite show while it works its science-backed magic on your scalp. You guys, I've been using it every night while I'm watching my programs, and Ingrid is using it too, and we send each other selfies every night while we're wearing our devices, and I swear it feels good on your head. And they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee. So you can try it risk-free. And if your hair doesn't make a glorious return, you'll get a full refund, just fabulous hair, or your money back. I mean, what have you got to lose? So are you ready to get medical-grade red light treatment at home and regrow your hair? For a limited time only, our listeners will get $625 off their order when you use code PINKSHADE at iristorlaser.com. That's $625 off your order at iristorlaser.com with promo code PINKSHADE. For a limited time only, listeners will get $625 off their order when you use code PINKSHADE at iristorlaser.com. And when you check out, support our show. Tell them we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to Iristor. And
they are great.
We do
a they them.
We do a they them. Okay. And that also brings me to Salt Lake. Your friend is on the show, Brittany, that you also know from Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Is that weird?
No. Listen, I loved Brittany when I knew her. She was so sweet and so cool and such a great voice. We were in Miss Saigon together in the Broadway National Tour. And she was very quiet and sweet and smiley and upbeat and friendly, but just like she wasn't like a dramatic housewife by any means at all. She was just
Did she seem like a little Mormon girl?
Yes, she seemed
did.
like a sweet church girl, 100%.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, she was
Interesting.
so well behaved. I mean, it's weird to call a grown woman well behaved, but she just was so well mannered, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, her disposition was always smile, gracious, sweet, affable,
Yeah, that's
you
how the
know,
Mormons are.
chill and sweet and great and upbeat and positive and really talented. Um,
Have you talked to her since she's been on the show?
I sent her an email saying, I'm kind of in the same universe. I host this show with Andy Cohen. I'm excited for you. And we reconnected a little bit just, on social.
She had to have known that you're in the universe, the
Maybe, but I think
Bravoverse.
she's kind of in a bubble. Like we had lost touch. We weren't keeping in touch really. It's been over 20 years since we were in that show. And I think she's in a bubble in Salt Lake City. She's not real. I mean, maybe she did. She may not have realized it was me, or maybe she did. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think she was kind of in a bubble.
Well, I think that's just like, what a small world. What a small world.
Totally. It is a small world. It's crazy. It's crazy to see her. By the way, she's a friend, but she's in every scene and she's at every function and she's at the center of all the drama a lot of times.
Yes, and I've told you this. I'll say it again. The rehab center where my husband went, Cirque Lodge, is the Donnie Marie soundstage.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Like when the gates that they never close, the gates will have a D and an M on them.
That is so funny.
And when you go into like the experiential room or whatever, they had the largest like indoor ropes course ever in the United States in that place, but it was because it was the Donnie Marie soundstage.
Wow.
Huge.
I love that.
I'm the old person here who like remembers Donnie and Marie. Like everybody else here is like, the young people like Dave was talking about. The other parents there were thrilled by it. Like I was. Okay, now speaking of Salt Lake and being the home of a lot of rehabs, Mary Cosby and her son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm really hoping, what we're going to find out next week, what I'm hoping is there's going to be some forward movement with the son where he's getting some help.
Yeah, I hope so too. I was surprised that the tough thing about this scene was that she's talking to him, having kind of this confrontational moment while he's messed up. And that was kind of the first thing that was like, you go through a little bit of like, is this, what is the word? Ethical to put this person on TV in the state, incapacitated state. Cause he was saying I'm on Xanax and Adderall. And, but then it's like, well, he's in his own home.
Last week he was worse.
I know. And also this is, I would assume his mother is on the show and this is probably has been discussed a lot about whether we want this to be shown. And I'm really glad that they decided to, because I loved how she reacted to him. I wonder if even I was thinking when she was talking to him, if she had talked to someone at her church or a professional and said, listen, I want to ask my son about his drug use. How should I react to him? Because she was so compassionate. She didn't attack him. She was firm. She said, I love you. She reminded him how much she loves him, but that she won't support it. Mm-hmm. And she also, I think, realizing that he was in an incapacitated state, inebriated, whatever, on pills, suggested, I'm here for you. I will help you get help if you want it, but wasn't saying now's the ultimatum moment. She knew better, which I thought was really wise, because that was never, you're not going to get something out of someone who is currently messed up. You got to catch them at the right time.
Yeah. 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 But I think that he'd been in his room like that. I mean, since last season, she talked about him and the girl, his wife or his girlfriend, whatever, going into the room and just being in there.
Sure. Oh, when I saw the room, I was like, oh, I get it. This is, he probably goes from the bed to the massage chair, back to the bed. I mean, I used to take Xanax. Xanax was my thing. I also am really happy that he's talking about Xanax specifically as something that he has a problem with, because I think it's just so overprescribed.
Mm-hmm. I talk about Xanax because like a long time ago, I had a prescription that would literally last me 2 years, because I would take like a quarter of it when I was flying. Right. And I found that it really helped. And, but again, it was like, And then, like, right before I got married, I got so nervous that I thought I was going to throw up because of just not the marriage part, because of the people looking at me part, like all those
Yeah.
people looking at me. I couldn't like take the idea of it. But I could name the times I've taken it, but I can tell you when I've taken it, I feel better. I just
Of
feel
course.
not so worried.
It's a powerful drug.
But I feel not so worried. But I can't imagine if I took like the full dose, like 3 times a day, like it says on the bottle, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Would I just walk around like jelly, or would I just walk around without a care in the world? Like, I don't even know what it would do.
Probably go to sleep. You would probably just sleep, but you build up a tolerance really quickly with any of those classifications of medication, benzos. You build up tolerance before the minute you take it. You
Mm,
you don't know that, but like scientifically, that's what happens. It doesn't matter if you're an addict or not.
mhm,
It is a drug that controls your central nervous system, breathing, eating, motor function,
mhm.
thinking. So if you have a pill that's thinking, breathing, eating, and moving your body for you, if you have a pill doing that and you take that pill away, then your body has to relearn how to do all that itself. So there's this big catch up period every time you take it and stop taking it. And
Oh,
and then it makes you more panicked and more stressed out and gives you more anxiety. By the way, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what
yeah,
I've
yeah.
done, like as someone who was dependent physically and psychologically on this medication and went off of it. That's why it's the worst withdrawal, because you die from it. I was in the hospital so many times from seizures because I was going off of Xanax. Like that's how
John.
life and death it is. Like this is not, you know, going off of heroin is really rough, but then you're over it. But Xanax withdrawal, things like that, it takes months and months and months and months, if not years, to really recalibrate your brain. And so when I see people recreationally take them, I'm like, I get it. It's also very acceptable, like a Xanax smoothie and like a very housewivesy to just like, oh, you're feeling this
Yeah,
way, take a pill. It's very like 50s housewife. That's how
yeah.
the medication was invented for like, in World War II, people getting their limbs blown off. Here, take a Xanax and you won't be panicked. Like that's when you should be using it, not if you're scared that you're going to see someone you hate at the grocery store. But that's how we use it here.
Okay, all right. Well, no, I'm getting what you're saying. So, like for me, is the fear of flying, and I don't take it when I fly anymore. Now I've somehow in my life I've gotten
Yeah.
better about it.
By
But
the
it
way,
used to
if
be,
people
yeah,
should be, it's like any drug or alcohol. If you can safely take it, fucking take it.
yeah,
I personally cannot, because when I take it, I go, oh my God, all my problems are gone. I'm not
mm,
worried about anything. I'm not stressed. I'm not panicked. I don't have social anxiety. I'm not worried what someone is thinking. Give me more of those pills. Like
yeah, yeah.
my brain does like, if I have, it was a magic solution for me,
And were you getting it prescribed, or are you having to buy it from people?
both. I had a prescription as like a safety. So I was getting a prescription and then I would also buy them just in case, because I was always so freaked out. Like, but if I run out of this,
What if
then
you run out?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be I'm gonna be I'm gonna have anxiety.
yeah. Well, that's just like the way my husband would said. He was never thinking about what we were going to drink if we went to a restaurant. He was trying to figure out where his next 5 drinks after that were
Uh-huh.
coming from. Like, what if we went to somebody's house and they didn't have the drink that he want? Like, he would be panicked. He's thinking
Yeah.
ahead to what if I run out, you
It's
know?
like a security thing. Like it was always like, okay, well, if I go to this function and horrible things happen, at least I know I have this Xanax in my pocket that I can
Mhm.
just take and everything will be fine. And that ballooned into, well, but I need to have 4 turbocharged pills of them in my pocket, not just one, or I need to have,
Yeah.
and then 10 at my desk at work, and then and 2 in my car. Like it becomes an obsession. You go
Yeah.
crazy because the fear of feeling your feelings becomes really scary, because it takes away your fear of, you know,
It's so
living life.
it's fascinating to me because like I said, like I have a prescription and I've taken it when I've needed it. And it's interesting because it does just make you sort of, okay, well now I'm not worried about that. But me personally, I wouldn't want to feel like that all the time because I
Right. Well,
mean,
you're a normal
yeah,
person. You're
you
not sick
gotta,
like me. I used to take it and go to CrossFit. I used to take it and go run a marathon.
but
I was
how?
always,
How you just
I
like you power through?
power through, and it's the therapeutic dose is to calm you down a little bit. But
Mhm.
when you're taking massive doses of it, I think it does something different to you. I don't know. I used to take sleeping pills to go out. I was I had such an I have such an overactive, panicked, chaotic brain that I always just wanted to be calmed down. I was always so crazy ADD.
Well, I want to talk about what Robert Jr. said here. He said, first of all, when we saw him last week, he and his girlfriend or whatever were in bed and they were obviously really out of it. And Mary's like, "You guys cleaned up before I came in?" "Oh, yeah, we just cleaned up." And I don't know if you saw, but lots of people online were trying to figure out there was something on the bed and the girlfriend put her hand on it to grab it. Now, it looked
Mm,
like it could have been a vape or something. She went to
mm,
grab it. And when she went to grab it, because Mary was talking to them, like, "What are you guys going to do? Like, you can't sit in the bed." She was trying to scold
mm.
them. She went to grab whatever the thing was, and he put his hand on her hand to stop her. So I'm like, what was that?
I wonder. I didn't see that.
Okay, if
No.
you go back and watch that scene, and then you, with your trained eye, can figure it
Yeah.
out, let me know.
It probably was a vape.
But why would he put his hand? Because maybe it was like a pot vape.
Maybe a pot vape. Yeah. Or maybe no vaping in the house. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean, just like let mom think we're sitting in the bed eating, because that's what people do in the middle of the day. But
Interesting.
that was interesting. So, but this week's episode was it was very hard, and the level of Xanax they were talking about, I think I was remembering that you have told Xanax stories. So
Hmm.
when he's saying, first, I just did natural, which was hard to even understand what he was saying, but it sounded to
Pot,
me, I did natural things. So that to me was like pot and mushrooms. Okay.
shrooms. Yeah.
And then she's like nodding, okay. Cause and she says later she knows he smoked pot. But then when he says somebody gave me a Xanax at a party,
Hmm.
but then I would do Xanax and Molly, Xanax and acid, Xanax and
Acid.
cocaine. I wanted to do Xanax with everything. Now explain that to me because I don't understand that.
Um, well, first of all, it's the most dangerous. You should just take, if you're going to take a bunch of Xanax, just take that alone. Don't mix it with anything else because the mixing it is what is going to kill you. And if you just do a light Google search, hey, I'm taking this, and I used to just type in what I was taking and find out how dangerous it was, and it was always
Mm,
like, do not take Xanax with opiates because your breathing will slow down and you will stop breathing. Like it suppresses your system so much. Basically, if I had to guess, the reason I wanted to do it with everything is because it was that security of like, okay, if I have a bad trip, this will keep me calm. This will at
mhm.
least keep me regulated. I think that's what it is. It's a security blanket. Like, because if you take Molly or if you take acid, or cocaine, you might spin out. You might go have some crazy, you might have a panic attack. So when you want this, that a lot of people who did meth, they were always like, oh, I never did Xanax. I just always had it when I did meth because I would want to come down. It brings you back down.
But it sounds like in this case, what he said was, and we don't know if what he was saying was accurate, but he said, I took Xanax, but then
Mhm.
I took Adderall to balance it out.
Well, yeah, that's like, playing pharmacist with your body. It's like your body's a science experiment. I used to do that all the time. Because you want to see, like, you want to just, you're always chasing a level of okayness, which is
Mhm.
ironic because if you don't take anything, you'll be okay. But like, once you're in that cycle, Xanax, you're too sleepy. A little Adderall will bring you back up again. It's a cycle of just always trying to chase that baseline.
But what we see with Robert Jr. here is he's spending a lot of his time in his room, in his bed.
Yeah.
But you were like working a full time job and, going to the gym and doing all of that. So I don't
Mm,
understand how any of this works.
I was doing the bare ass minimum, like I would go to work, but my work was suffering, I would go to work. I didn't have a mom paying my bills, I had nothing. I had to. So I
Good
did
point.
I did what I
Good point.
had to do to survive, and then I would go immediately home and be in a bed using pills. I was very solitary. I was very alone. I wasn't like I wasn't like going out to clubs and doing coke with a bunch of cool hot people. I was like
Yeah.
sat at home feeling like, oh, I'm such a loser. I'm sitting at home taking pills.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it seems like maybe that's how it started for this kid. Like he was like at a
Mhm.
party, somebody gave it to him. So then he would go to a party and do Molly and do Xanax and do cocaine and do Xanax. But when he's saying all this stuff, and Mary is just, she just literally cannot believe what she's hearing. And
Yeah.
it's wild that they're doing all this on camera. But what I thought was interesting is that when she came in the room when the girlfriend wasn't there, and she's like, I want to talk to you. And she obviously they can see the camera crews and the production and everything is there. And he like crawled out of the bed towards her,
Yeah.
which I thought was really like, he is like a kid.
Yeah.
And he just wanted like his mommy to talk to him, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I felt so bad for him.
I felt bad for him. I felt
Yeah.
bad for her. And, you know, it was terrible that he was crying, saying, you know, I felt like a stain.
Yeah. But
And I
that was
don't,
so honest. That's what people don't realize. I think a lot of times they think the drug addict is a mess, an asshole. He's because they're acting mean or they're flaking out or whatever. What they don't realize is that the big inner monologue is I'm a piece of shit. I'm failing at life. I can't do this. So like I'm glad that he was given a little love from her and a little
Mhm.
encouragement instead of just like you're not doing it, you're failing. That's what
Yeah.
they need to hear. The
Yeah.
other thing about the Xanax and stuff is that when you're buying those things and they're not from a doctor, you don't know what they're made of.
You don't know
And
what they're putting in it yeah.
and thank God that I got sober before like synthetic fentanyl came on the scene because you don't know. I mean, who knows what they're
Mhm.
putting in that stuff?
I know. And then that's, you hear stories literally every day now about,
Yeah.
and it's, a lot of college students like went to a party and took
Yeah.
something, whatever. And so I'm always
Right.
telling, my son who is in college and my daughter who's college age, my daughter is like so scared of everything, but I'm just like, my understanding is you go to these college parties, there's literally just like bowls of pills. And you're
Right.
just like, okay. And this sounds like what Robert Jr. is describing. I just went to a party and somebody gave me one.
I used to see pills on the subway in New York City, and I'd grab it and swallow it just to see what would happen. I mean, when you're
John, that's terrible.
when you're at that point, you don't care. You've stopped caring about your life. You're just like, oh, whatever. You stopped caring.
And you're like, a dirty Subway pill will do.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. If I saw a pill, I'd just take it, and then that would be fun. It'd be like, I wonder what will happen.
Oh, I can imagine that would be fun if I was like in college and we were like going out, then that could be fun, but not just like, and then I
Oh my
might go to
God.
work and see what could happen.
Right. No, I know. That's life gets crazy though. That's what happens. But I'm really glad that Mary had this moment. I'm glad she shared it with us and let us all see it.
Yeah.
And
And he was crying and saying he felt like not being here anymore. And
he stayed alive because of her.
And I felt her saying, I don't know what I would do if you weren't here. And she's like, I love you more than your dad. Don't tell him. I was like, well, we all know that. We've been watching the show.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, like you and I just said, I don't think her saying that to him, if he's really in that dark place, is going to change his mind at all. If he's going to go get high, he's going to go get high. And what his mom says doesn't matter. He's going to, he's going to figure a way. But what I'm hoping at the very least is when she was saying, like, do you want to get help? Right. He never really said yes. He was
high. I think maybe
yes.
when he sobers up and is having like because you're going to want to hold on to those moments in between. I mean, he was out of his mind. So of course he's not going to say, yeah, I'd love to get help right now. I feel amazing, because he probably felt amazing, but he'll know later. It depends on when he's sick of it. When he's sick and tired of being sick and tired, then he might get help.
Right. But it sounds like if what he's doing, all those combos, it could not turn out great, I mean, it's not these aren't great combinations of things that he's doing.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
But he's saying it out loud. So that gave me some comfort that he's saying it out loud, and his mom is able to get him help. And a lot of people this week were like, oh, there's these reports that Mary's house is foreclosure and all this. I'm like, she could have spent all her money trying to get this kid clean.
That's right.
I definitely have somebody in my family that did that,
Mm-hmm.
Spend all your money to get in and out of rehabs is really expensive.
It's really expensive. Oh my God. Yeah. Just for 30 days even.
Yeah. Well, I do feel that you were the perfect person to discuss all this.
Well, thank you for having me. I am always happy to talk about it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Now,
of course,
you are a star of stage and screen and radio. So tell everybody about your upcoming live shows that I've been to. 2-3
Well,
times.
and
Amazing.
speaking of, I just booked a new date in DC on March 5th at 7:30. So put it in your calendar. I hadn't even announced it yet until today. So
Is it the same place?
it's at the same place. It's Union Stage, but they opened a new place like across the street called Pearl Warehouse, and I think it's going to be there. And they have a grand
Okay.
piano and everything.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yay.
March 5th, DC, come out.
Okay.
Other than that,
Okay.
I'm kind of like taking a couple months off.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have any upcoming shows because you just did a couple in LA
Seattle on Saturday the 30th.
of December,
No, of this month, this Saturday.
November. Okay.
Oh, is
November
that what I
30th.
said? Did I say December?
No, I said December.
Okay, yeah, no.
November 30th.
Yeah, just a
Okay.
few days away.
Okay. You guys, if you live in Seattle, go see John
Yeah,
Hill.
come see me.
It's very, very, very entertaining. And your singing is amazing. You guys, you just heard he was in Miss Saigon with Brittany.
Yeah, maybe Brittany will come. I love you. Thank you for having me.
It's really great. And you guys also, John Hill has the John Hill Show. And is
Right.
that 2 days a week?
It's 1 day a week and then Andy Cohen Live Monday through Thursday.
Yes. And that's on 9 a.m. Is it 10 a.m.?
It's 7 a.m. my time. I don't know whatever
It's
time
10.
it is.
It's 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I listen to it every time I can, and which is most days. And
Thank
I'm also
you.
very entertained by that.
Yeah.
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 John,
me
you're
too.
funny. Oh, you guys, you know what else you should do? You should go follow John on Instagram. It's John
Yeah.
Arthur Hill, and he posts a lot of thirst traps. A lot.
Yeah, I should do more actually. I've kind of been taking a break from those.
No, this is what we need in our algorithm.
And I
This
have
is
my
what we need.
calendar. My calendar is being made. Yeah, it's a really good one this year.
Okay. Well, I've talked about your calendar a lot.
I know.
Every month I get a new picture of almost your penis right in my face.
Yeah, well, you can have it again for 2025.
Okay. I would like to buy 3. Remember I told you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll work it out.
We'll work out a deal for 3.
Yeah.
One to Ingrid and one to her sister.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got you.
Okay. Because they're my that's my staff.
I got you.
I'm laughing at myself. It's so stupid. Okay, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And for everybody listening, I hope you're having a happy Thanksgiving and you enjoyed Addiction Talk with Mary Payne and John for your Thanksgiving. And don't hang up, John. And thanks also, guys. This is on YouTube. So go over there and look at that. Pink Shade Pod. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.